period. It's pretty nice.
So we're hitting milestones, is what you're saying. Over the last 90 days, we're hitting some big milestones.
Oh, you hit live. Yes. There are some.
Hello, Luca Nation. Luca's Tigers and Bronze nationwide. Luca's Tigers. Hello.
Dude, it's a night. That was a custom greeting. Look what a good mood you're in. Let me just say this without saying anything crazy. We are thrilled to be able to bring this stuff to you every day. It's amazing because everybody who comes on compliments us for the longevity, the ability to do this. The Lou Gehrig, Cal Ripken, show up every day, and no one else does that. I got to tell you, I don't want to see a day anytime soon where we don't do this. It is easily the highlight of my day, mostly because of you. Thank you, my good man. But I love talking to these guys, and I love talking to you. I love talking about cards. I love all of it. The other stuff that I've been doing with my life before doing this is the stuff I no longer enjoy. I like going to the post office. I was telling Andrew, I dropped off all of our SGC subs from January, our 50 free. So all of our our members of Luca Nation that got 50 free subs that I showed on Whatnot, the return this past Sunday. I mailed all those back, and I mailed my Whatnot sales, and the guy is like, hey, do you need more of those padded envelopes? And I'm like, sure. He's like, I'll get you a box. And I thought he was going to bring me a box of like 10 or 15. And he brings me this box that's like the size of me. I'm like leaving the post office with this huge box, but loving every minute of it, seriously. And the next part, I mean, this is a rant, but it's a positive rant. Guys, there's a lot of cool stuff that goes on in this hobby behind the scenes. And we got a lot of like push towards positivity and optimism and that kind of stuff in the hobby. There's a lot of people who do a lot of great things and don't want credit for it. And I'm not gonna go any further than that. What comes to mind is a George Steinbrenner quote that I remember he had when he was still with us. And he said something like, I butcher quotes, so I'll paraphrase it, but something like, if you do a good deed and more than 2 people know about it, or you do a good deed and tell more than 2 people about it, you did it for the wrong reason. Think about that. Do it because it's the right thing to do. And there are a lot of people that we've got to meet because of this podcast, and some we've never met, but I hope to meet soon.
Some are just avatars.
Yes, people who do a lot of good stuff behind the scenes. So big thank you. You guys know who you are. There's a lot of cool stuff that goes on. And it's inspiring too. It makes me want to do more stuff for our people. It makes me want to, go out and do good things too. It's like a catchy thing. It's like the Christmas season all year round, right? It's like, get out there, you see a good deed being done, you want to do one yourself. So there you go, man. I took it 3 minutes off the rails. What do you got for me today?
Past performance doesn't necessarily dictate future results.
This is true. Jaw's gonna have a bad second half. Is that what you're saying?
No, he's gonna have more than 18 home runs.
That's right.
Was it
Shohei?
Was it with hiring people that we talked about that? Like, you don't get hired based on what you've done in the past. You get hired based on what you could bring to the table in the future.
Yeah,
and I think in the NBA, it's a very delayed, right? So like, one of the narratives that Philly had was, we're bringing one of the best shooters of all times, one of the best scorers of all time to the team, and that gives us a chance to win, right?
I mean,
the issue I have, he has a decent beard. One of the things with that, though, is that he used to be that. Now, this year, he's hamstring injuries. He's not on the court a lot. He doesn't shoot as well. He's not as good. He doesn't get to the free throw line as much. So I wanted to talk a little bit about the NBA trade deadlines, how who you thought winners were losers. Maybe a little bit into MLB. My play today is actually a baseball play.
So is mine. Nice.
Because I think people are sleeping. It was actually that Jeff Wilson. He brought it up, and I started thinking, there might be some opportunities there. Any topics that come to mind before I jump in? Anything you want to discuss?
Big thank you to Jeff. That was a fun episode, guys. If you haven't listened to that one, it's one of my favorites. You get to see folks like that in the hobby. We've had all of them on, it seems, from Ryan, Card Collector 2, to the Card Ladder guys, to Jeff, to Jeremy Padower, David Peck. I mean, just crazy, guests. I love talking to these guys. There's optimism. There's that entrepreneurial spirit in all of them. There is this, this streak of positivity that I leave thinking, all right, What are we going to do, Andrew? What's our next move for us and for Luca Nation? How do we bring more value to the people who listen to us every day? How do we make them more money? I feel, you get a good guest on who's got a good beat or the hobby, a good instinct for it, and doesn't go all negative on me. Because I have a tendency, you get a little negative, I go down that rabbit hole. I go down that negative rabbit hole. And he was measured optimism. And I think that's a good thing. It's a good thing for the hobby to hear. Reasonable and measured, but still optimistic. I like that. I did a lot of thinking about some of the stuff we talked about in the episode last night, and it kind of reinvigorated two sides of me. One, just a traditional card collector / card investor, but two, the take a chance, get up there, take your swings, and it doesn't mean go start a business. I mean, I'm 112 years old. I mean, my time to start a business has probably come and gone, but take a chance within the market. Try to find something that people aren't investing in yet. Try to make a new market. Try to find something that might be that 5Xer that I'm saying doesn't exist, but it clearly can exist. You might be wrong, but that to me is a little bit of fun, and I enjoy that. So yeah, my play is baseball. Can I do one more thing? You say what's top of mind?
Sure.
I definitely want to talk to you about basketball trades. So one quick story, I got a friend who is a Boston Celtics fan, and he messaged me yesterday. He's like, dude, I got to go buy a jersey. How did you not tell me my boy Bol was traded to the Celtics? I'm going to go buy that Bol jersey. And I'm like, I didn't tell you because he was traded from the Celtics. And he's like, no way. I would have known. I buy Top Shot moments. I would have seen one. And I'm like, no, I don't think he actually played a game for him. I think he's been traded. I think he's like 3 teams here, and now he's on the Magic. And he's like, "Get the hell out of here!" He looked it up. He's like, he was on my team, and I didn't even know." But I think no one knew.
You can still go buy the jersey if you want it.
Yeah, go for it. Yeah.
Do you follow Kirk Goldsberry, or is it Cliff Goldsberry?
Cliff Kingsbury.
I believe it's Kirk Goldsberry. Really great follow.
Dan Quisenberry. Okay, I'll find him. Kirk Goldsberry.
He does this efficiency landscape. I could pull it up. The most efficient team, believe it or not, number 1 net is the Celtics. They're 7th in offense and 1st in defense.
And how do you measure efficiency? Scoring per possession?
Yeah, I would say there's some algorithm to it. I don't know, but I trust this guy. He used to do analytics for the Spurs. He's a very sharp-minded NBA. He's kind of like he was the Billy Bean of the NBA. I think is a good comparison to him. And I don't know how he measures that, but that one really, really stuck out to me. And I actually think the Celtics are interesting the second half of the NBA season to see what does this team do. Does Tatum and Brown? You look like you're smiling right now.
I mean, I want to know how.
What are you chuckling?
So many questions come to my brain. So many, like what could efficiency, the PER, all these stats. Like, I think if you wanted to, you could find a way to rank any team first, except for the Thunder, and maybe they're first in like age. But yeah, man.
Youngest?
I mean, yeah, exactly. Youngest, first in age. It's a good way of saying it, dude. I got a funny message. I'm not gonna say who sent it. I got a funny message. Will we do cameos? Can we do cameos for Valentine's Day for listeners? Like, will we go on there and say, "Hey, it's Cage, happy Valentine's Day"? I mean, who the hell wants that?
Oh, like actually cameos.
Yeah, like do a cameo. Like, can I be on there and like say, "Hey, it's Cage from Lucas Taggins and Bronze. Just want to wish you happy Valentine's Day." Never even thought of that. Who the hell wants that? Who wants me ruining your Valentine's Day? Just go buy a box of Russell Stovers and, call it a day. Pop some chocolates and enjoy yourself. Weird stuff, man. Weird stuff. You gotta love it. All right, let's see. What else? What other? Okay, so one other story. One little value, and then we can get into our plays. We can talk about the trade deadline. One of the little attempts that I was trying to make on the side, diversify the portfolio and try to do like a little something different. And I talked about this, I think, in like a live with Manny, maybe and whatnot. It's Type 1 photos, right? I like them. They're cool. Bleaker Trading has a bunch of really cool ones. I've won a couple of them in some auctions. I've never really talked about Type 1 photos. I haven't really gotten too far down the rabbit hole, but I like it. They're large. You know what I mean? So the slabs are large. And if you're thinking about doing this, first of all, if you have questions, you could always message me. We could talk through it. I'm not an expert. by any means, but I am starting to research that just as a cool little, something different. But something that I guess probably goes without saying, but I still messed it up, is be careful when buying the ones that are not already slabbed, right? So I actually just got back my first PSA sub of Type 1 photos. And every one of them was purchased from either an auction house or eBay, mostly eBay. And everyone said that it was a Type 1 photo, right? Right in the listing, right in the eBay listing, Type 1 photo, Type 1 photo. And today's lesson from me to you, because we get up there, we take our swings, and sometimes we miss, or sometimes somebody throws us a curveball, and we definitely miss. But I want you to learn from them too, just in case you're one of the people out there who's thinking about Type 1 photos as well. Just because somebody calls it a Type 1 photo doesn't necessarily mean that it is a Type 1 photo. But I want to give PSA some credit here. So I got back, I think I sent 9 pictures in, and 6 of them were Type 1s. The ones that I got from the auction house, calling them, Type 1s, were Type 1s. But a couple of I had some Ali photos, like him and Frazier. And even though the listing said Type 1 photo, PSA slabbed it as a Type 3 photo, which means, of course, that it wasn't done with the original negative, and it wasn't done in the first 2 years, and it was, basically made off of a copy. But here's what's cool. If you click on the cert number, PSA tells you why it wasn't a Type 1, which you don't get on card grading. It was a cool little thing to see, right? You don't get hey, this is a 9, not a 10, because look at the corner, or look at Charizard's face. There's a little scratch right where he's breathing fire, or you don't get that kind of stuff. This is like, hey, this photo was taken in 1973, but yours was actually produced by ABC to promote the fight in 1974. You know what I mean? Like it's an interesting thing. So it wasn't made off the negative; it was made from a print, and they explain it to you, which is really cool. And I didn't spend a ton of money on these, and the grading was only $50, I think, plus some fees and whatnot. So it's still a cool piece. I have them here. Maybe I'll grab them, before the end of the show. If you want me to go grab it, it's like 10 feet away from me. You want me to grab one and just show you?
Sure.
It says Type 3.
Why not?
Hold on. Yeah, hold on.
Cage always comes in here with his own his own agenda of what's top of mind, and so it's all unscripted, guys. I'll just wait here. I'm not even gonna fill the noise with noise.
Anyway, I didn't want to take this too far off the rails, right? Because a lot of people don't like this stuff, but give PSA some credit. Obviously, they packed it up nice. It's here, it's taped up, bubble wrapped, and the like. And it had, when I purchased it, I'm gonna ruin the bubble wrap on here. When I purchased it, I thought, okay, it said Type 1, and it also had some of the markings on the back of the photo that would make you think, all right, this could be a Type 1. It says the subject name on it. It's like handwriting on it and the whole deal. And it's definitely a pretty cool piece still, even as a Type 3, but I'm sure it's not worth as much. But I'll show you. Cool photo, right? So this picture here is it's Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier. So you see the picture? And give PSA some credit. This is cool stuff, right? So really cool, like substantial slide. You can see, it had the markings of what I thought. So it's Cassius Clay. It's got the date of the photo on it. So obviously it says 25th of January, 1974. You can kind of see. And it says, all seems to be going along fine just seconds before Muhammad Ali and Joe Frazier start a fight in the ABC TV studio. They did press for the thing and actually got into a fight in the studio at ABC. They're taping a show for Wide World of Sports 123. Then Frazier, goaded beyond endurance, burst from his chair and brawled with Ali, whom he met at Madison Square Garden 128. So anyway, if you take a look at the slab, you'll see instead of Type 1, it says Type 3. Can you see that? Type 3 authentic 1974. And they explained to me that that this was, printed from a print by, I think, the United Press and like that kind of. This is a whole. I mean, I had a couple that were like this, but cool, I think it's really awesome. I think the photo's cool. It's one of these it's got a great rivalry. Captured right before they got into a fight. Some would say WWF style, like a promo fight.
Yeah.
But it's just a cool picture.
Remember the story you told me about him and Frazier getting in the car?
Him in the car. Yep.
Frazier was broke, and Ali. They were like, and Ali's like, "Hey, you need some money, brother?"
Yeah. Yeah, you need. How you doing for money? It's like
One of
fine,
the best fights I've ever seen was Ali and Frazier on YouTube. Just watching how they were fighting, it was pretty cool.
Styles make fights. Anyway, I don't want to take too much time on these because not a lot of people collect them. I mean, the deal on it, of course, is the same as everything else. Be careful with what you buy. Take a look at people's feedback and whatnot. And I bought some Type 1s on eBay. The ones who I graded and are Type 1s, I will do repeat business with those people. They have a lot more Type 1s. And when they say Type 1, clearly it is. There are other sellers who call things Type 1 that are not. It's still a cool piece, but it's not what I thought it was. Okay.
Are you sad?
Not really. No, dude. I mean, I can go get the box.
How much was that? How much was that?
Like $100, $100, $80, something like that. I think I bought 3 pictures, and it was like, from the same seller, and it was like $270 or something like that for all 3 of them. And then you throw $50 on for grade. So it's cool, even in like a Type 3 type scenario. And I'm actually giving the Boston Celtics fan. He'll probably listen to this, and I'll ruin this. I'm gonna give him that because he's a boxing guy too. So we'll see. We'll go from there.
Yeah.
I'm generous.
Santa. You're like Robin.
I'm generous. But I got some cool Jordans, and what was cool? Like I did get a Muhammad Ali Type 1 where he was in Zaire in 1974. And it's like a candid, like they had just got off the plane and landed there, and people are in the traditional garb, and he's there, I think, with his wife, and Don King is next to him, and they're like meeting folks getting off the plane, and they slabbed it Type 1 and put with Don King, like they added in, their whole thing in there, so that was kind of a cool one. They didn't do that on a Jordan one that I had from the 96-97 season where he's got a black jersey on, which is really cool. He's being guarded by a rookie Ray Allen. And they didn't say Jordan with Ray Allen. I don't know if that matters, but it's a cool picture. Not a lot of later Jordan stuff like that. I was looking for those kind of things, like the later on, because digital's coming, So anyway, that's it. Type 1. I don't really talk about it too much.
What other subs have you got back? So you got PSA photos back, SGC. We got our free grading sub. You're sending that out to people.
That is it.
That's it.
That is it. That's it. I got no other subs back. I wish. I want more subs.
Really? You should be getting subs back every single day.
Yeah, I wish. Of what?
I don't know. Cards?
I
photos?
Wish. No, listen.
Coins.
So people who I should be just grading everything. I should just be grading everything. You're 100% right. For people who are waiting, we actually have we've talked about this guy a bunch of times. We've talked about it so much. We've had him on DJ from our group, and he just got his sub back. Remember, and he was showing the pictures of like the 2012 Prism. He was on one of our groups, and I asked him. I said, "DJ, when did you sub this? To get a gauge because we're still waiting on stuff from December." And he's like, "September of 2020." And I'm like, "All right, well, good. You deserve it. You waited long enough.
We got a long way.
You waited long enough. You waited longer than we did. So it is what it is. All right, you want to talk a little bit about the trade deadline moves? You want to go right into baseball? What are you feeling?
We're in a time crunch, Cage.
Yeah, my play's like 2 minutes. Pretty straightforward. The trade deadline stuff, I think both teams got better in the Harden Simmons trade. I want to give somebody I know a little bit of credit, even though I understand Card Porn's post about saying somebody gets left with a bag, but I'm pretty sure somebody gets left with a bag in basically everything. But I wish I listened to your Simmons play. Anybody who bought Ben Simmons cards when you said to buy them is better now than when they were, buying them when you said to buy his cards. And not only is he going to play, but he's going to play for the Nets. And now the Nets are, maybe Kyrie's going to actually play in home games soon. Who knows? We'll see what happens. I'm not in the Nets HR. I don't know what's going to happen there. But that team, they got my boy Drummond. They added a deadly shooter with Seth Curry. I mean, they got some good pieces. They got some good pieces on that team. And Ben Simmons is going to be playing meaningful basketball games. And for the Sixers, they were getting nothing out of Simmons. Simmons was not playing for them. So the fact that they were able to get Harden is an upgrade for them. I think the Nets win the trade, but I think they both improved their franchise. And
I'm
Sixers
cautiously optimistic. I'm cautiously optimistic. Give the Sixers credit. Do you think more
because they held back Maxey and Thibault, and the Nets were asking for both of them. So they kept some of those young guys. They kept some of that core to potentially build around these guys. And there are not many teams out there that are going to go 1-4 with Maxey, Harden, Embiid, whoever else you want to throw out, the Thibault, or whoever else you want to put on that team. That's a good core if they can play together, right?
I don't think either team makes it out of the East. I don't actually think either team is top 2 in the East.
That makes sense.
So I think it's a win-win trade for both parties in the sense that it's high risk, but it's high reward. Right? Like,
look, the Knicks are the 1 seed, so neither of them are as good as the Knicks.
Knicks are terrible, man.
What was the biggest surprise in the trade deadline? Thought the Lakers did nothing?
No, I mean, to me, how close the Pelicans are to being a playoff team. And being a tough team to deal with. Like, I don't think they're going to be great by any means, but that team is they're really interestingly built, right? I would follow Jordan Schultz. Jordan Schultz is close friends with CJ McCollum, and CJ McCollum came from Portland. Zion is training in Portland, and there was like a release that he wants to come back this year. That's a really interesting team once they get healthy.
I mean, that to me Devontae Graham plus anyone is a stud team. But I know what you're saying. Ingram is healthy and playing. McCollum healthy. Zion. That's that's another nice little nucleus of a team right there. If Zion plays,
I think next year they could be something. Next year, not this year, but I think next year they have a lot of really interesting pieces. Like CJ's a bucket getter through and through, right? And now he has something to play for, so he'll be a little more in shape, a little bit more physically fit. Ingram is hitting his prime, man. Ingram is a problem, right? Then you have Zion. And what's interesting is this team, not just that they got some pieces now, they complement each other, but they're so different, right? Zion's big, strong, bully ball. CJ, smooth, bucket getter. Ingram is long, man. He's a mismatch everywhere. Devontae, vet. Jonas Valanciunas. Dude, Jonas is a good player.
Valanciunas having a good season.
Big guy, sets good screens, and he could hit the three. So Herb Jones, so I like that team. That's actually the most surprising. I didn't think CJ would go to the Pelicans. I really didn't.
Listen,
who else?
I'm a Pelicans fan because I like Devontae. I will follow Devontae around for his whole career.
What other trade? I mean, it's hard. Ibaka to the Bucks. Really, I think we forget Ibaka. His style of play he was better on the Raptors, in my opinion, than OKC. And I think
solid piece.
Very solid piece. He's an East type of player, right? A big man. Mm-hmm. Out West, they play ball a little bit different, believe it or not. Ibaka's going to do some big things. I think the Bucks, to me, are clear-cut favorites to win the finals, even if they lost to the Suns. The reason they lost to the Suns game is revenge and the last game of a road trip.
So here was my take. I was surprised about Porzingis being traded away from Dallas because they didn't really get back much for him as a help. Like that name, that type of all-star, marquee name. I mean, he was huge. I remember when the Knicks got rid of him. Obviously, he had some ancillary issues going on when that happened. But it was like, wow, that's the future of the franchise right there. There's a unicorn. He's like 7'12", and he can shoot the three, and he's going to be one of these, dynamos. And what did Dallas get back for him? I mean, what did they even get?
I like Spencer Dinwiddie.
I like Dinwiddie too. That's one of Ian's net guys. Ian's net guys are all over the place now. Everywhere.
And Bertans.
And Davis Bertans is a good shooter, but they lost some size. They lost that inside. But everything that I needed to know. Inside. I get it, but everything I need to know, I knew in the first quarter of it. You want to talk about like taking a noose off of your star's neck, right? Like toe anchor, right? Like the old ball and chain. Like, guy's been married 20 years and he gets to go to Vegas on his own kind of deal. No, I'm not talking about me. My wife's giving me a look. I'm talking about Luka Doncic, right? I'm talking about how it's talking about a weight lifted, right? Like, all right, KP's not here anymore. The franchise has my back. They know I did not want him here, and look what I can do. He's not here. He's not clogging it up. He's not going to give me a pouty face if I don't pass to him, and I'm going to go out there and I'm going to score 28 points in 9 minutes and just put the game away before it even starts. Luka kind of tell you everything he needs. I don't know how long he can go, shooting that many times, but yeah, man, that talk about like he just felt like free at last, free from KP. Kind of to him, it didn't matter who came back, right?
51 points. 51 points. Let me.
New career high.
What else we got here?
Any
other trades we're missing, Kate?
I mean, there were
like
a bunch of trades. Yeah, there were a lot of trades. I think did I read like 11 All-Stars were moved or something? Just crazy amount of stuff. My favorite thing from yesterday was LeBron and KD were picking their teams. And I don't know about you, but even though I was a little fat kid, I was never picked last. I don't think you were picked last, right? We had a little athletic ability, whether it's dodgeball, whatever it is. Did you see who got picked last?
Harden.
Yeah. And KD passed on Harden. And then, after LeBron takes him, they're doing it live with Charles Barkley and stuff, right? So LeBron says, hey, wait. Is he even going to play? He's hurt, right? And Barkley goes, nah, he got traded. He can play now. He's fine. Like it was the hamstring's perfect now. That's all he was sitting out for. He's sitting out to be traded. It was really funny. Charles Barkley's funny. They had LeBron and KD dying. You got that. We'll get into our plays with baseball in 2 seconds. How about one I'm going to throw out there for you? Sure. Were you surprised, or did the right person win, or did you even know this, because the NFL does a shit job with it too? The last night, Aaron Rodgers was awarded the MVP. Did you even know that?
You texted us.
Yeah. They have like a whole show about it. Aaron Rodgers won the MVP.
I don't rate those awards that much. I don't rate those awards that much. I like the teams, like All NBA defensive team. I think that's a really valuable thing. Okay. Second team All NBA. I don't rate MVP awards and that kind of stuff because, like, for example, I mean, I don't know NFL enough, but like I think this year Jokic should win easily, but he's not the most marketable. So I think there's a good chance that he won't win again. And it's like, so I don't rate that as highly. In what angle are you asking for him? Like, do you think it's going to have an impact on his cards? I know he's probably not going to play in Green Bay, or is he going to play in Green Bay? He's going to announce his status soon. What angle are you asking, like, the question from? Because I think it was probably baked in at this point.
So a couple things, right? One, he gave a speech and basically, like, thanked them for his time there. It was almost like a goodbye Green Bay type of speech, right? It made it clear, I think, even though Green Bay's putting on a good face, and they say they're gonna have him, you name it, the whole 9 yards.
I didn't go anywhere. I'm plugging my computer in, Cage, because it's gonna die. It's not my fault. Are you getting a call? Is that what I'm seeing? We can't hear you, but I'll jump into my play because I know we are a little.
Well, you can hear me. You can hear me now. Yeah, you can hear me now. So, I mean, listen, the Rodgers thing is interesting because it made it pretty clear that he's probably not going to be back in Green Bay. He kind of almost played the victim, this year, right? And people really liked Brady. There was like a groundswell, and there was a lot of talk of like, can Brady win it now that he retired? Are they going to give it to Brady? Swing this over to Brady as like a career achievement award? He was slightly better, than Rodgers, I think. But I think a lot of it was, he had the COVID stuff, right? But here's why it matters. At least I think, right? He's going to keep playing. Brady's done. Do you know how many MVP awards Brady has won? So this is why it matters, right? For cards. Do I think it's already baked into his card prices? Sure. Right? But here's why it matters. Tom Brady, we all say 3, right? He won in 2007, 2010, and 2017. He could have won this year. I think he led the league in passing yards and passing touchdowns, but that team just ran the ball like never. So they were pass first offense, and he could have won it this year. And Tom Brady is always thought of as like, far and away the GOAT QB because he has wins. He has he has the Super Bowls, just like Jordan has the Super Bowls, right? Jordan has the championships. Peyton Manning has 5 MVPs. He won in 03, 04, 08, 09 with 07 Brady in between there, and then 13 again. Manning's got 5.
He they created that like that fast-paced offense, right? Manning changed the game in a lot of ways. He threw the ball so much, he was so accurate. No one did what he did before.
Yeah, Marvin Harrison, Reggie Wayne. I mean, there were a lot of teams that were doing that short passing for a while. I would say that the Detroit Lions in the 90s that had Herman Moore, Brett Perriman, they had 2. There was another, I forget who, maybe was it Johnny Moore? Maybe they had 2,000-yard receivers also, and one that also had like 800. Yes, Manning had the first one. I think had 3,000 when Brandon Stokely got to 1,000 yards that season also. But there were teams that had done it. The Houston Oilers did it with I'm going to forget all their names, but the Houston Oilers did it. They had a couple of 1,000-yard receivers also, Warren Moon and. I'm going to forget the wide receivers. I can't believe I'm going to forget the wide receivers, but they'll pop in my brain again. But I go too far.
Drew Hill, Curtis Duncan, Tony Jones, Ernest Givings, and Hayward Jeffries.
Hayward Jeffries. He actually held the record for the most receptions until it was broken, I think, by Herman Moore. 100 catches or so, and then it was like 108, 110, and then like Herman Moore got like 130. So that's when that whole like pass first, throw, short yards after catch started. But yeah, Brady had 3, Manning had 5. This was Rodgers' 4th. So think about that, right? He's now second only to Manning, and he has 1 more than Brady, the GOAT of GOATs. And everyone can make an argument that Brady did such a great, thing in his 21st season, 22nd season, however many seasons it's been, right? And that he was so dominant, he's doing things at the age of 44 that no one's ever done, and et cetera, et cetera. I believe this was Rodgers' 17th season. And he didn't win his first MVP until 2011, right? I think when did he come in the league? 04 maybe? 05? I don't even remember.
05,
so, yeah, 05. So 05, it was coming off of Manning 03, 04, Brady 07, Manning 08, 09. It wasn't until 2011 Rodgers kind of broke through, 11 and 14. But guess what? 16 years in, he's won the last 2 MVPs. Back-to-back MVPs is difficult. He now won 2020 in his 16th season and 2021 17th season. So listen, throw it out there however you want. He is one of those polarizing figures, right? But of all the people on the list that you have for QB, he's still playing, right? So he's the one who's actually still playing a little bit of the old football. Who's not? Brett Favre, who is amazing and won 3 straight MVPs. Had a run from 95 through 97 that we've talked about is amazing. But Favre, Brady, Rodgers, Manning, 3, 4, 5. So anyway, take what you want from that one. I think when all the dust is settled, Rodgers is going to go to a place that he thinks gives him a chance to have an easy run at the Super Bowl, which is going to be NFC. Does that mean he goes to the Niners? Does that mean he goes to the Bucks and just fills in the Brady role? Does it mean he goes to
one of these? Niners. I would bet Niners.
Maybe. I mean, there's talk of the Broncos. That would be miserable. It would be a dumb move. So,
yeah.
But anyway.
I think Niners, that's where he went to college. Kyle Shanahan.
He went to Cal.
Yep.
So the tough part about the Niners is he's one of those guys who carries a chip. I don't know if people even remember back to 05, but the Niners had the first pick that year, and they were picking a quarterback. And going into it, people didn't know who they were going to take, and it was between 2, as it often is. It was Alex Smith or Rodgers, and the Niners passed on Rodgers, and they took Alex Smith, which is fine. Solid quarterback, had some injuries, played well, has had some success.
Wouldn't Chip be going there, proving that they made a mistake?
No, I think he's won against them enough times to prove that they made their mistake. Going there is like saying, the Chip is like, screw that team, I'll never play for them. It's like Ken Griffey Jr. saying he'll never play for the Yankees. You don't go there and win for them. So,
Did the Yankees
I mean,
pass on Ken Griffey Jr.?
allegedly, Ken Griffey Jr. says that the Yankees were not good to his dad, and his father
That's
told him,
way different.
no matter what you do, don't play here, and it stuck with him from being a kid. He just I don't want
Yeah,
to play for the Yankees. So
that's very different. My play today is in baseball, and you guys out there don't, I don't know baseball that well, so I'll
yes,
be
you
honest.
do. Give yourself some credit. You
You're
watch
right.
the games.
I don't know it. I don't watch the games, dude.
You
Watching
watch the
baseball games,
games.
it's the equivalent to watching paint dry.
Your
There's
dad
4
says that.
hours.
Your dad says that, doesn't he? That's an old man saying. My dad said that too. You don't actually
Yes,
say
except my
watching paint
dad
dry.
doesn't have American or English sayings. He only knows Russian sayings. But a card I'm looking out for, a player I'm looking out for is Bo Bichette. Okay? So
Mm-hmm.
people have talked about him. I think he was a little overshadowed by Vladdy G last year. Cage has a theory that fat guys will always be fat guys, so look out for
So
Vladdy
he'll
G
revert.
to show
He'll
up.
revert to me. Look at me. Look at
He'll
me.
revert.
Go back a couple months, guys. I didn't look. There was less than me over in this little area. Fat guys, they will go back to being fat guys. It's just what we do.
He had a monster year, though. A monster year, and he's a young guy, 23 years old. Batted 300, 29 home runs, almost 30 home runs, 102 RBIs, almost 200 hits. And that was really his first full season. And it was actually kind of a tough season because if I remember correctly, I don't think Toronto played at home that year. I think they
Correct.
were on the road because of COVID. So just super awkward, really confusing season. And you had a really good hitting team. And I think it was slightly overshadowed by Vladdy G. My play is, here, I'll pull it up. So if you go Bowman Chrome first, you'll see this spike from the 16th of January to a last sale in February. His Bowman Chrome draft picks auto, now $2,000 card. It sold for $2,000 a few days ago. Huge jump from 860. So someone's buying it. The card I want to recommend is the gold out of 2020 in a PSA 10. It's only $500, $525, and it's been relatively flat. You could have maybe got a little bit better deal last year in June, $355, but overall, this card before last season started was $1,000 card. Right now, it's $500. I have a feeling with only 52 of these, Topps Gold, card number 78, 2020, it's Bo Bichette throwing. With only 54 of these, it's not going to take too much to move it. It's really not. And this is a card that you could buy maybe 2, 4. And if there's a run up into the season, sell off 2 and hold 2 because I do think he has a big year.
I like it. So if I were to give a guy who's the same year, same cards, the whole deal, you go gold. What kind of gold was that? Was that chrome gold foil?
Paper. Standard paper
gold. Okay. And not looked at like maybe like a base chrome?
You can definitely look. I don't know baseball cards. Chrome is probably better.
So I have listen, Bo Bichette. I love the play, right? So talk about some records, right? In his first 87 games, he has 14 multi extra base hit games. Only other person to do that, Joe DiMaggio. Okay. Fastest Blue Jay ever, and the Blue Jays have had some great players, to 100 career hits, right? It only took him 78 games to get his 100th career hits.
Wow.
The only Major League Baseball, not Toronto, the only Major League Baseball player ever to have 15 extra base hits in his first 15 games. I mean, talk about hitting the ground running, right? 15 extra hits. Tied Ted Williams with a 9-game extra base hit streak in his rookie year. MLB record with a double in 9 consecutive games. Longest on-base streak to begin a Blue Jays career. Franchise record for the most home runs through his first 80 games. And we're talking about like Fred McGriff, who's a guy who retired just shy of 500 home runs, right? We're talking about like just legit names. He also broke the record for home runs, and what I'm talking about there is he has so home runs and RBIs. Excuse me, fastest Blue Jay to get to 100 career RBIs. It only took him 159 games to get 100 RBIs. That's career games. So what you're talking about here is a kid who's young, a kid who's got great hair, a kid who's got the pedigree, knows what it takes to play baseball because his dad was a star for a long time. He's on a good young team with a good young core, and I think you're dead on. I think he's a great player and a great place to put some money, especially with baseball being beat up. My guy, same year, I like Lou Bob. I'm expecting huge things from that team and from him this year. You know, I'm hoping he stays healthy. I'm hoping the young guys, Eloy Jimenez, I'm hoping that team stays healthy and you can see what they can really do. They'll beat the hell out of the Yankees if they stay healthy. They got good pitching. They got a good all-around team. But what was the most surprising thing to me, and guys, you can go Andrews route and get a gold. That's fine. I've made the mistake of going paper over chrome. Right now, I go chrome base, and here's why. Yesterday, an auction ended on his chrome base PSA 10. So we're talking about not a debut, not a rookie debut. We're talking about card number 60. So it's a 2020 Topps Chrome, card number 60 rookie in PSA 10, $41 on eBay. $42, $43, $41. So we're talking about, February 10th. There are a million of these listed, $49.99 or best offer, $59 or best offer, $55 or best offer, and the auctions are ending at $41. This is the kind of card with $41 to sell on eBay. After they take their 12%, the person's getting less than $35 on eBay, right? So it's the exact kind of card. You go to a show, you go to Facebook Marketplace, you find somebody who's got 5 of them, and you buy it for $150. Pay $30, $32, $34, whatever it is, because they're only getting 35 on eBay anyway after the fees, right? Stock up on these. It's the kind of thing that I did with Tatis. It's the kind of thing I did with Pete Alonso. And what's going to happen is you're buying this card at 30, 32, 35, and you're stocking up 10, 15. I'm not talking about a huge investment in here. Buy as many of them as you can. When the season starts, even though the pop is high on these, they'll be selling. You can go to a show and sell it to somebody for $50 or $60, $55, whatever, maybe more during the season if he starts to heat it up a little bit. And this is the kind of car people want. Yeah, the pop's high. I don't think that we're going to see the prices stay in that 30s range much longer because people will eventually start to talk about baseball. This offseason has been a little nuts because they have the work stoppage, which is a little crazy. But I don't think they're going to lose any real time. Definitely not going to cut into the season, maybe some spring training stuff. But this is a guy he's a stud. He's a 30 home run, 100 RBI guy without even trying if he stays healthy. And that's the kind of guy
he is Bo Bichette you're talking about, right? He is that.
I'm talking about Lou Bob. Lou Bob is my guy. Lewis Robert.
Lou Bob's your guy.
Number 60. Yeah, I love Bo Bichette too, but I don't get the same play as you, so I'm happy. But I think you can go. You can get.
No one cares about the White Sox.
They will.
They will. So?
Oh yeah, they will.
All right. Fine. Well, we'll see. Super Bowl weekend is going to be fun, Cage. We have the Whatnot show Sunday morning. We'll have the fractional report Sunday evening. That should be inconclusive because neither of the quarterbacks are on collectible, so that's irrelevant. But just an exciting weekend.
Listen, if you're not following us yet on Whatnot, please do. We're breaking a box of select hobby football. Maybe we'll pull a Joe Burrow 101 for you. Who the hell knows what's in there? And we are giving away a Burrow Optic Hollow SGC 10. SGC 10. So the 2020 MLB World Series odds, obviously this can change depending upon what happens in free agency and not a lot of stuff is signed. The favorite to win the 2022 World Series is the Dodgers, plus 500. The Astros, plus 600. You know who the favorite to come out of the American League is? Well, yeah, the Astros. The White Sox, plus 850. Third highest odds. Right ahead of the Blue Jays and then the Yankees. So, the White Sox are a sneaky bet to win this year. They were much better at home than they were on the road. They had a lot of injuries, and that's why they didn't get home field advantage in the first round. But all their starters, their entire pitching staff is returning. You're going to get Lou Bob and Eloy back. It's one of those teams that I think a lot of sharps are thinking
to do some
they do some damage this year. So anyway, that's it, guys. We love you.
Love it. Bye, Luca Nation.